We're not giving up. Not giving up yet. Just had a brief call with Cathy. She's rearranged her whole office so that we can now use her phone. And I'm hoping this is going to work because there's Cathy. Oh, Camilla, hey. Look at this, it's working. I'm giving up. Otherwise, I'm leaving today. You go. Here's Cathy.
I need to re-angle this so you don't see the mess behind me in my office.
No, I don't. I was just saying how you had to rearrange your whole office so that we could do this.
Just quickly, but hey, I suppose this is the first step in communication. When it doesn't work, you have to find a way.
Yeah.
Or you don't get the communication done. And this is just technology, isn't it? So there we go. But a pleasure to see you, and good morning to anyone else who's joined us. And apologies for the technical hiccups.
No, that's my fault, because you did mention that before, and I was like, no, it'll be fine. You know, it's fine, and then didn't ask the questions, did I? I should have explored that more.
Oh, well, every day's a school day.
Yeah, no, thank you for this as well, Cathy. It's awesome
very welcome
to have you here. Been very excited to chat to you a little bit today, and also to have you come down in person later on, or September now, so to come speak with us and some of the coaches we work with. So very excited for that. Now I obviously know you. I think a few people here might know or have heard of you, but in terms of your, like, an introduction, what would you say to people? What's your background? How do you do that when you explain who you are? Because I'm always interested in that.
It is. It's I learned a bit about elevator pitches, which is basically the idea that maybe you've heard about it before. By the time you go from the bottom to the top of an elevator, you should be able to explain to someone what you do or something key about your business. And I thought you've actually really struck a very important note, because at the beginning, how do you explain this to someone? Because as soon as I say, oh, well, I coach communication, no one on this earth feels that they need communication coaching. Everybody has good communication. You know, it's like a heavy criticism. So I have to, I think very carefully about the words, and basically, and as I will do with your group, and I'm very respectful of the communication that everyone has, because it's what we grow into. So when I come to explain what I do, I always I explain, okay, I'm a communication coach, consultant. I basically help people with specifically communication barriers or challenges they have. In effect, I add to the skills, experience, and knowledge they already have. And I work out how to weave some new tactics, strategies, and ideas into what they want. And if they like it, they use it. And if they don't, they don't. It's as simple as that. Professional, light, fun. And of course, the bit that usually brings people in is when they say, well, where did this come from? I'll say, well, hostage negotiation. And then suddenly there's real interest. So actually, if I only use 2 words, hostage negotiation, I would buy everybody in immediately. But that's not really what I do now. I'm still involved in that world a little bit, but not in the same full-on way as I was. So there we go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that help? Does that paint the picture?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I knew that I needed that kind of the picture anyway, but I always think it's quite interesting, because I go through this with coaches sometimes, who are like, or explain to me what is it you do? Like, how would you tell someone, like, if they said to you, oh, tell me what you do? And a lot of times people struggle with it. It's really hard to communicate that. So I was just conscious of how you might explain what it is you do, and I get that whole, like, the hostage negotiator thing. Yeah, it's obviously sounds very exciting. that side
it's a sexy title, isn't it?
Yeah, really. But I remember I think when I saw you live, it was probably 7 years ago now, and I think you used a few stories from maybe your time doing stuff there, but changed the names obviously, and changed confidentiality, and it was just really interesting to see how you weave that into, like, everyday stuff, like how we communicate every day with partners, relationships, work. I just thought that was fascinating. Yeah, forever etched in my mind is core emotional concerns. Is that? Yes.
Spot on. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and the other one, the values, needs, wants, beliefs. That's always here. Because I did your online masterclass, and I had a look actually. I did that 2 years ago now, which
Yeah.
feels crazy. I thought it was the other day, but no, it's 2 years ago. Mad.
Well, I
Um,
love the fact it feels so recent for you. I'm really inspired that you can still. I'm not looking for everybody to remember everything I coach them on, but really, there's. I speak about a Mary Poppins bag. I have this Mary Poppins bag full of tactics, strategies, if you want to call them the official name, but stuff to say, phrases, understanding of human behavior that I can haul out, right? Okay, I remember this or I feel that here, and what is it that I've used before that works that I can now use now? And all of that stuff is put together in a really neat framework that we can lean on for anything. So if you think of it, the work we did was hostage and crisis negotiation, which meant there's a full spectrum of work that we did from the most common deployment is people in personal crisis. So suicide intervention, really about 40% of our work. Only between 1% and 3% of our work each year was dealt with kidnaps and hostages. I mean, that's enough. I mean, it's still good.
yeah,
It still keeps you focused. And then there's everything in between. So I suppose, Dan, what we need is a communication framework that we can lean on for every job, every deployment. It doesn't matter who's involved, what their background is, their age, their gender, their culture, it doesn't matter who. We have to be able to communicate, to connect, understand, communicate, and when necessary, influence and change behaviour. Now, if you think of it, if we have a framework that is fit for purpose for such a tough environment that works even in the most challenging and tricky situations where we're as negotiators, we're on it. We're professional, we're experienced, we're knowledgeable, but we still have that knot in the belly, and we should. It focuses the mind. Now, if we've got something that allows us to work even under that pressure and be effective, well, it's going to work everywhere. And
yeah,
that, when you mentioned that you still have core emotional concerns in your head, well, I couldn't think of a better tactic to have. That will serve you well with everyone. Now, everyone on this planet, 8 billion people. And if it can work for us, it'll work for you. And it's just changing the context. Take out of that world and put it into personal trainers, dealing with clients who tell lies, clients who are self-sabotaging. You're working really hard and suddenly you feel their um, their progress. It's more
yeah,
important to you than it is to them. All of these things are feelings that your clients will have. The frustrations that come when maybe you don't see eye to eye with your peers, or maybe awkwardness that you just can't put your finger on as to why. Well, that's just a different context, same situation, and the same stuff works. And it's going to be a joy, and I thank you for allowing me to come down and work with you and your team. It'll be a joy just to share some of these things with you, and
yeah.
then let everyone take what they need to go and just make life easier. Make
Yeah.
life and communication easier.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I say, there's still some of those tools that I learned during that masterclass that have just been invaluable. And not just in the work, in general life, like speaking with my partner or my wife, and just the way that I think about communication now has changed. Yeah, I always remember that exercise. I can't remember what part it was in the course, but you got us to, I think it was us, or we talked about it, but getting someone to describe like their perfect day, and then from that pulling out all of the core, like the values, and you could tell from what people talked about what was really important to them, and then you could like dig into that a little bit more. And that for me was just, that sounds really simple, but it was mind blowing. Yeah, that was part of it, wasn't it? I'm right in thinking, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, and in fact, I have an exercise like that planned for
Oh,
you on the
cool.
first,
Amazing.
and it's basically, if you remember back, I asked you, like, if I had to ask you what was important to your best friend,
Yeah.
what is it that's important to them? What do they value in life, believe in, need, and want? You'd be able to do a big list, and you could then, do one for yourself, and you'll find there's a lot of connection there. But how do you do that when you meet someone for the first time? How do you do that so that you can convert, someone from interest into sale? How do you do it to just really connect with someone who maybe is a bit troubled. You've never really had a big conversation with them. You don't really know how they tick, but suddenly. And 3 minutes is all it takes, really. 3 minutes. If you listen properly, listen with interest, then you will be able to explore what is important to someone and then use that to connect and then to be able to be a kind and effective communicator. And it doesn't mean pink and fluffy and a bit weak. It actually means just a very connecting communicator. And that is the source and the difference between conflict and disagreement. Exercise we use, it's easy when you get on well with someone to really be interested in them and find out all these things about them, what's important. But how do you do it with someone that either you don't know or you don't like? And it's the same thing, you know, you're finding your connectors. So yeah, we chat through all of it. We'll chat through all of that on the day, and hopefully all your guys will like each other, so I won't have to actually go through what do you do when you don't get on with someone. But
yeah, that's it. Because I now have them. I now know where that came from, because I remember that part in the course, and I was thinking, my wife will just chat to anyone, and before, you know, you walk into a room of strangers, she'll know everyone straight away, and then I'm the person who's I'd just be in the corner. I'm happy speaking to me. And then I remember this coming up, because that now is something that I've used. I've used that in the real world scenario with people when we've gone to like events or weddings and things. And now I don't feel as like a spare part. So
you're right. Good. And can I ask then, do you hate small talk? You know, that small talk, lovely weather, how, you know, where are you going on holiday, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And a lot of people don't like it. It just fills a gap of silence. Whereas if you can do this layer thing, you can actually just take one thing that someone says that you're genuinely interested in and explore that a little bit. Now, they brought it up. So it's not that you're being nosy. They brought it up. And most people, if they bring something up, it's important to them and they'll probably quite like speaking about it. So you can just explore that a little bit more and it relaxes everybody. And actually, it is a very connecting way. You will always have people, or times even for the most buoyant people, that will want their own space and they don't want to communicate, they don't want to have conversations, and these things should never be forced. But if you are within business and part of the success of your business is being able to communicate effectively, then having a few of these little tactics under your belt is quite helpful for when you need it. I mean, why would you go into a big room of people and not think, okay, how can I share what I do with everyone without sounding salesy and pushy, you know?
Yeah, it's a great skill, and that in itself opened up so many more opportunities as well, because you're just talking this, like, the networking in effect, really, isn't it? But that's brilliant to go through that. But yeah, in terms of what you've got planned, is there anything that we can kind of go through now, or like just what you've got planned for the day? Or
well, I mean, we have a full morning together, and I thought we would, although I have this structure and framework that I can share with everyone, I thought, why not let the day flow the way that the attendees want? So what I thought we could maybe start the day was with everyone having a conversation about the communication challenges they have. What are the things that trouble them, that, you know, really get in the way of them enjoying their work, or get them in the way of maybe connecting with specific clients, and just bring that to the party. And we will, while I'll absolutely coach through some of the framework I spoke about, you know, such as the core emotional concerns and the bubbles, I think it would be nice for everyone to walk away with some specific tactics they can use immediately to help them. So really, any challenges anyone has, bring them with you. We'll have a chat about them. It's actually quite a nice environment to be able to speak about these things openly. And when I say vulnerable, I don't mean, again, pink and fluffy. I mean just open, honest, in a safe environment where you can actually say, well, I've got this issue with one client, or I have this difficulty with my landlord, or I'm thinking of this, but I don't know how to say it. Well, firstly, it's nice to be able to say that, because you'll discover you are not on your own. You will be amongst other people who go, me too. And that's a very important element, to not feel isolated with these challenges. And then we'll just take them and we'll work through them, and so that it really helps. Everybody walks away feeling that they've probably shaped the day, and they get something that they really need. So if that is acceptable to you, Dan, and and those that are attending, then that would probably be, I think, the most effective way of balancing the stuff that I can maybe offer and the stuff that people want.
Yeah,
What do you think?
absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt. I always find, I think I spoke about this with you when we talked a few weeks back, and I find it fascinating how you you can do that. Like in terms of like going to just go. I know you have all of the structures and everything in terms of from doing this for years, but I still find it fascinating for you to go, right, cool. What should we talk about? And then off the back of that, shape how it's going to go. I think that's incredible. So it could be good. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's taken a little bit of at first, I suppose, to do that at first. That only comes with, I suppose, wisdom, experience, bravery, and the realization. You know, you
Yeah.
have a mirror and you suddenly think, oh, actually, I can do this ad hoc. I don't need the structure to follow on. And it's the same for you and your colleagues. If you went as personal trainers, if you went into somewhere and somebody says, right, deliver me a program, you would probably be able to have,
Yeah.
it might not be fine-tuned to the way you would have done if you had weeks to prepare it, but it will be fit for purpose. That will really help on, you know, so it's a matter of knowing your trade, isn't it? Knowing your skill set, being experienced, being passionate. And believe me, I still practice my trade every day. I don't sit back and think, okay, I am an established communicator, I need to do hee-haw with it. I have fun with this every single day, whether it's in the supermarket, whether it's working with family, whether it's anything. So playing around with it means that it stays sharp. So thank you for your kind reflection with that. But I'm not putting myself on a pedestal here. This is the same sort of thing as you guys, just a different skill set, I guess.
Yeah. No, very, very much looking forward to it.
Me too.
If people, because people watching now, people watch this back as well. So
Sure.
if I know that you're stopping doing this at some point, like, is that next year or yeah, yeah.
It is.
So if people do want to get an opportunity to at least gain some sort of knowledge and skills from you, like where's best for them to go find out more?
At the moment, my final online masterclass, which is a 5-week program, 2 hours a week, and it actually starts at the end of this month, and that's my final one. Next year, I am doing one final face-to-face, and it's in Dundee, and it's actually at the place I started Art of Communication. I wanted to go back to the source of where I started, and it's at the gym that I went to as a client and now I support and coach at. And I'm going to do it there. So that one is going to be very special. It's limited to 25 people. Right back to the way I did it at the beginning, which is home baking, homemade soup, brought in sandwiches. And the thing I'll do different is that I think my the delivery in the program is a little bit more refined, and I will hire in very comfortable seats, because the last time folk were balancing on gym balls and sitting on the odd seat and things. It was one of these, this is my first ever gig sort of thing, and I didn't know it was going to grow into a business, and I thought the right place to do my final one is Good Health and Fitness at Dundee. So that's what I'm going to do next year, and then that's it as far as my delivery of stuff. I'm still working with individual clients like yourself and still delivering next year, but the business will be wound up by 2025. So there we go. By then it'll be 10 years old. So
Yes.
I know.
Crazy.
Exciting.
Yeah. And then you're just gonna play sport and just chill out.
Just I'll never be able to sit on my bum and do nothing, put it that way. But I've found, I mean, I do love my fitness, and I've found high rocks. I'm doing quite a bit of high rocksy things, so I would like to play around with that over the next 6 months, year, and then when I'm no longer working, maybe try and be better than I am. Just see where I go, because I'll be in the old, and I will be in the old ladies group by then. So that means it's quite good to maybe do an individual and see how I get on. I mean, I've not got any illusions that I'll be placed or anything, but I would like to do as best I can. So that's what's in my head at the moment, Dan.
Good. Yeah, I look forward to it. Seeing you on the High Rock stage.
No.
You'll be hooked. It's become quite a thing, hasn't it, in the last few months? It's just blown up.
It has.
So, yeah.
Well, I think north of the border we get quite excited if anybody brings their gig and High Rocks came to Glasgow in February, and I took part in that in a doubles, and I just loved it. It was great. So my partner and I are going to do Birmingham in October, and then I have signed up for the individual in London in November. So that'll be a little test ground to see if it suits me, and from there on I'll do a little bit more. So yeah, it might be, I think there's a lot of my fitness clients go to these things as well, so that's where I like to catch up with people too.
Yeah, I've not got into that yet, and people keep saying, "Oh, when are you going to do high rocks?" I'm like, "No, I'm not," because you have to run. Like, why would I want to run? Like, just take the running out; it'd be fine.
Well, Dan, I did pick up a very important word within that explanation, and it was yet.
Yeah.
Little subliminal.
Oh, damn it. But yeah, it just interests me, stuff like that. I think it's the challenge element, but yeah, we'd have to ruin it with putting these long runs in between.
There we are in different bubbles. Explore the layers.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Good
but
stuff.
brilliant, awesome. Thank you for this, Cathy.
A pleasure.
Like I say, if people want to know more, they can come see our social media platform there. We have got some more spaces left for the event we're doing. Normally we just keep these for like the people we work with internally, but we've got a few extra spaces. So if people do want to come along and see Cathy live, like just drop me a message and we'll make that happen. So awesome. Thank you for that.
Why would you not do that? You've put a lot of work into this, Dan. I know over the months that we've spoken about, you've put a lot of effort and energy into this, and yeah, you deserve a good attendance. So yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, brilliant. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
Will do. Looking forward to it. Okay, thank you. Glad the technology finally worked for us.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.